The indictment that we expect now coming out of Atlanta, we saw the bump that he got in the polls from the indictment in New York City. And by the way, a big landmark court ruling, Bragg's attempt to not have one of his prosecutors testify in Congress, that got squashed. And if you actually read that judge's analysis of that, it was a total rebuke about what Bragg was doing. But I want to go to Georgia. There's no question the indictment is going to come. We've already seen it. It's already been leaked by that one lady that went on TV on CNN or whatever, who was the jury foreman of that original jury. How do you think that's going to turn out for the president when they're trying to indict him on RICO over a phone call he made to Raffensperger?
It's pure lawlessness. I mean, in many ways, it might even be worse than the sham case in New York, because in this case, I mean, in New York, they're literally inventing a crime out of thin air. There's no crime. In fact, the phony indictment doesn't even list the crime he's accused of. It's unbelievable. But in this case, they're actually taking real crimes, and instead of going after the people that perpetrated them, election interference, I don't know, stuffing the ballot box, I don't know, taking ballots from the table and scanning them multiple times and then admitting it, going to the police on body cam footage and saying that it'll blow your mind, the USB ports. What do you mean, Ruby Freeman? Oh, so instead of investigating all that, the money from the nonprofits, the NGOs that went from the ballot harvesters picking up ballots at the NGOs and then stuffing them on camera, where are the RICO charges there? Instead of investigating the real crimes that happened in Georgia, and there are many, they are going after the one man who spoke up about it, President Trump, on a phone call, who listed all the irregularities, who listed all the problems in Georgia's lawless 2020 election. And Brian Kemp didn't have the courage. Brad Raffensperger didn't have the courage. They are weak, corrupt rhinos who did nothing. And now they're trying to turn this on President Trump. It is sickening. They're turning the law upside down. But it's not going to deter anybody. If we're going to get the truth out there, President Trump is not going to stop fighting for the American people. It doesn't matter how many sham, bogus, fake charges they might try to bring. President Trump is going to lead for the people, and we're going to restore this country. We have to.
Liz, about 2 weeks ago, the president came out with a policy on China. So he was going to bring all the chip making back to the U.S. He was going to cut China off, put more tariffs on them, stop the dumping of goods and services, undercutting U.S. manufacturing workers, and raise billions and billions of dollars over it. But yesterday, Janet Yellen, our Secretary of the Treasury, said that China's our friend, that we have to open the trade avenues to get us out of the looming recession, and they have to continue to have favored status, and they were our friend. How can you be so polar opposite?
Well, in a sense, she's right that China is a friend of the corrupt political class, a friend of the Biden crime family. They're so corrupt, have taken so much money, and are so beholden. And that's the problem. Our corrupt political class is beholden to China. They've completely sold out the United States. And there's only one man who's taken on China, who's put the interest of the American people over the interests of the ruling class, who's put the interests of the country and held China to account. It's President Trump. And he's the only one who can go in on day one and use the leverage of the American people, of our economy, of our workers against China, putting on tariffs, making sure that we do not lose our status as the world reserve currency. Only President Trump can get on the other end of a table with Chairman Xi and get a good deal for the American people. It's only President Trump. And none of these people have any idea what they're doing, or worse, they're corrupt and totally working. And like she said, a friend of our adversaries. That's the problem. President Trump, he's the only one who puts the American people's interests first and actually delivers results and makes sure that we're strong and the rest of the world benefits because of that.